Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. This is the spoiler review. I have a review on my blog, soundedbettermyhead.com. I don't think there's really any spoilers in there. Maybe a quick mention that Black Panther is dead, but that's like in all the trailers. I ended up giving this movie a 3 out of 5. I think I was a little generous. I do like the characters a lot, so I think that got me a little bit more goodwill towards my grade than the movie might have deserved. First off, obviously the big thing is that Chadwick Boseman died between this movie and the first one. So probably the first 10 minutes really addressed that. They do kill off the Black Panther in the movie. He died of a disease that they don't disclose. Pretty similar to what happened to Chadwick in real life. So obviously, it's a pretty emotional, because they're killing the character off. The actor's dead. That the sadness and the grief from the other actors in the movie is also based on real sadness and grief. So a lot of the stuff gets pretty hard. I think I teared up quite a bit, like I said, the first 10 minutes. Especially they got some little. Usually they have the Marvel fanfare, but it was quiet. They just had all shots of Chadwick from his different MCU movies. So I thought it was pretty well done. They got it out of the way pretty quickly. It still lingers throughout the rest of the movie, but I think they did it as well as they could have. And I kind of feel like most of the rest of the movies, what they would have probably did with Chadwick if he was still alive, if you still could have did all the Namor stuff, it just would have happened a little bit differently. I think it was not a pacing issue, but I guess it was a pacing. There was something about the way that the whole story unfolded that just never really quite worked for me. Like, it starts off, fine. Wakanda's place in the world now. They're defending their sovereign, whatever they were, the little bases they had. They're taking care of themselves. You got the base gets taken out by Namor's people, a different base, because they're going after vibranium. The siren song thing was really weird. Apparently some Atlanteans, or whatever they're called in the movie, I'm going to call them Atlanteans because that's what they are in the comics. I know they call them some Aztec-based city, but we'll stick with the tradition here. It's just easier on my mind. But you got these Atlanteans popping up and doing the weird siren song that apparently makes people just jump off ledges into the water. Weird. They only used it one other time in the movie, but it was just kind of weird. Other than that, I thought it was pretty well done. The attack, they're pretty tough. Namor flying and taking out a helicopter. And then it just gets kind of weird after that. Like, Namor just kind of pops up out of the blue in Wakanda and just kind of out of nowhere just gives his ultimatum to Shuri and the Queen about what they need to do and take out what ultimately ends up to be Riri Williams. Like, he wants her dead. I don't know. I know in the comics Namor has been a pretty hardcore villain, and he's also been a good guy. I don't think they quite get the balance right in this movie. He's doing what he has to do for his people, but it's pretty ruthless. He wants to kill this teenage, 19-year-old, college student to protect his nation. When there seems like there's better ways to do it, and he really doesn't consider that many other options. So I don't know. It was okay, and they dramatically changed his background. Now his mom and dad were human, but they took some kind of variant of the heart-shaped herb, I guess, and that made them all Atlanteans. But she was pregnant at the time, so that made him a mutant when he was born. Which that part's kind of at least similar. And I don't know. Then the Atlanteans they're blue on land and their old complexion in the water for some reason. It was just a weird take on it, and all the Aztec, imagery. I don't know how I felt about it, to be honest. It definitely differentiates it between, the DC Aquaman stuff and their Atlantis, but, I guess it works. It's something slightly different overall, but, like I said, to go again, Riri, she really didn't seem that necessary for the movie, to be honest. It's just kind of shoehorning her in to introduce her now for her later stories. I thought Everett Ross was necessary just because, he was a big part of Black Panther 1. They're coming to America, interacting with him. That's great. I thought his story went on a little too long. Like, I don't think we needed to see him get in trouble and get arrested and all this stuff and get rescued unless they're really setting him up for something else. Otherwise, I thought that was I thought it was unnecessary. The movie's 2 hours and like 40 something minutes long. So stuff like that, I don't think you needed. I said, the thing was, Chadwick had a star presence, and he elevated the character of Black Panther, and he led the movie. And Shuri and really none of the other characters were able to do it here. There was some good acting. I mean, Angela Bassett killed it, like a lot of scenes, but it just didn't feel like the Shuri character was able to step up the way they want to and be that leader and be the Black Panther and say this, she's going to kick everyone's ass if they come out, if they cross her, but also be with the words and be able to like be that king and be that queen and be regal, like the way Black Panther can make a good speech and shut everybody down. I mean, hell, in the What If, spoiler if you didn't watch the What Ifs, he taught Thanos, the alternate version of Black Panther, taught Thanos out of doing the whole Infinity Gauntlet thing. And they said then all of a sudden there's like a half-assed attack on Wakanda that really never felt that dangerous. Like just a lot of water, people were just kind of getting saved, and I don't know, just never felt like there wasn't as much impact as it should have been. Almost rather that been saved for the finale, and then all this craziness is going on. It just kind of felt like wasted. And then the way the Queen died was kind of weird. I know they were trying to do something to push like a conflict in Shuri. I don't think it really quite worked as well as it could have. I don't think the Killmonger scene worked as well as it could have, even though it was nice to find a way to bring him back. And they said the finale was nothing that special. Like the action overall, the Wakandans love their spears, and the Atlanteans seem to like their version of the spears. It was just a lot of people fighting with spears, and it was bloodless, and just, I don't know, even Riri in the Ironheart armor wasn't that special. She's really didn't do much of anything. She was just kind of there. She, helped some people. There wasn't like her armor didn't do anything really cool. Like there was no there was nothing really stood out from any of the action. Like there was nothing memorable. There's not much I'm gonna be like thinking about later on. Like, yeah, that was a cool scene. So like I said, it was just an okay movie. I enjoyed the characters. I just think it had a lot of pacing issues. The character arcs were just okay. Like, it felt like there was a little bit too much going on. Like there was even more Wakandan, like Dora Milaje that we're introduced to, that's really didn't go anywhere. I said already, all the tributes were well done for Chadwick. There is a mid-credit scene, which is just a weird one. Like they just kind of say, "Oh yeah, by the way, him and his girl had a secret baby who's I guess 5 years old now. Although he's looked older than 5, and he's also T'Challa. So I don't know where they're going with that. Be honest, I didn't research. I don't know if there's any lore about Black Panther having a kid in the comics. I don't know if they're trying to set something up. Do they do a time jump where he's an adult now and he becomes a new Black Panther, and that lets him get a new Black Panther that's T'Challa, but he's not really recasting? Or are they just going to ultimately recast like a Black Panther from an alternate universe? I don't know where they're going to go with it. I'm not sure they even really know at this point. But that's about it. That's, like I said, it was an okay movie. I think you could have trimmed a lot of stuff down. I just don't think Shuri is the one that was able to step in the spotlight. I know she did in the comics. I know in the comics she stepped at one point to be the Black Panther. I don't really feel like it worked in real life here. So that's about it. Like I said, I have the other version of this on my blog, soundedbettermyhead.com. I have other reviews on there. I got my comic strips. So thanks for watching.